extra time you would have been doing projects by watching some more of the videos and going through more of the stuff that we're doing day in and day out. So welcome everybody on a Monday morning. Let's do some audio production work here. What do I want to do today? Well, I got this laundry list of things we still have to do. And since I took the time today to bring my microphone down to a different spot today, I think what we'll do is we'll actually do some pack take folders and some comping. And believe it or not, I actually was doing this over the weekend. I started doing a little side project just for myself. Again, we have a lot of time. And even with the craziness of what's going on, I still found a way to do some fun stuff that would kind of keep my editing prowess up. So I want to just show you something. So for instance, we have this little comp here. And so this is technically speaking a pack take folder. Not a track stack. Track stacks are different. I want to say that right away. Track stacks are different. This is a pack take folder. It means that there were two different takes done on the same timeline. You could see the edge where it was actually blending over. And it's take one and take two. Now, I didn't do this on purpose. I just know I'm going to do something on purpose to show you. But I just wanted to show you what I did over the weekend and how it kind of added up. You might see this sometimes when you record multiple takes on the same track. So what Logic does is it breaks it out into these tracks, pack take folders. I was going to say track stack. See, now I got myself saying the wrong thing. And so what that means is what you're going to get is a final comp. And we're going to be doing some comping today as well. What happened was I recorded this take, and obviously it matches up with this. And I guess so you can hear it, it's just drums. I didn't do any post-production on this, so it's just a single kick drum, which might be hard to hear through the Zoom. And then it's one single overhead microphone. So it's highly mono at this point. I have not, widened out anything and done any editing and EQing. You could see there's no effects on here whatsoever. So, whoa, hey, hi. So what we're doing and what we're going to end up doing here is I made two takes. And in fact, on the last one, I didn't get the kick drum in there. So it probably is not going to work out very well. But I actually overlapped the first take with the second take. Had I actually recorded on this track as well, I would have gotten another comp here. I would have gotten another pack take folder. So I just want to show you what it looks like when it's done. But let's do one. I think that's probably even more important, is creating multiple takes. And we'll use our test project as we've been doing to do that. All right. We're going to start today with just using a vocal track because it's just easier to see it. And I have my vocal mic set up right now. As you can hear it, it's very echoey. That's fun. I like doing that. But I'm going to turn down my output volume really quick so I don't feedback. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pretend like I'm going to be doing a cycle record. All right. And then I'm also going to do a little punch in here. And I'm just going to I'm going to do a few takes of a recording. And you're going to see that as I do that, and we've kind of already touched on this a little bit already, but as you see, as I do it, how that starts creating what we know as a pack take folder. So here we go. I'm going to hit record. Of course, it's going to go back as a pre, then it's going to cycle, and it's going to punch. And what I'm doing is I'm auto punching. Auto punching is what I like to do. And sometimes I mess up. So it continues to cycle here, and then we're back. So let's just take off the effects really quick because they get annoying as well. All right, so I made a single recording, and I messed up at the end. I kind of messed up on purpose. Let's do it again because I want to do it again. Actually, let's hear back. Sorry, let's hear back it again. And what I'm doing is I'm auto punching. Auto punching is what I like to do, and sometimes I mess up. Okay, so I messed up, so I'm going to do it again. But this time, I'm going to make sure I do it right. So then auto punching becomes the thing I really like to do. I like to auto punch. And when I auto punch, it allows me this certain area to do what I have to do. There we go. Nice. You see that now that I have take two, it created a packed take folder. So take one is down here. This was the original one. Here, I'll play it back so you can hear it. I just clicked on it. And what I'm doing is I'm auto punching. Auto punching is what I like to do. Okay, and then now this was take two. So then auto punching becomes the thing I really like to do. I like to auto punch. And when I auto punch, it allows me this certain area to do what I have to do. All right, so not too bad. There are certain parts of take one and certain parts of take two I like and I don't like. So maybe I'll just do a third one. Yeah, let's do a third one. And then let's see what else I can get. Because in the end, I got to get rid of I don't know why the metronome came on. Get out of here. Is it on? All right, let's try it again. I don't know why it's clicking in. Auto punch, yeah, it's clicking. I don't know why. Undo that. Oh, where is my tuner? Two tuners there. Well, the click is there too. So I'm wondering where the heck my click ended up. Can't see it because I don't have the space. But there's my initial click in. Ah, there we go. Goodbye. Good. Okay, so now let's record. All this stuff up here is really annoying. Let's do it. And you see, I really do like to auto punch. Auto punching allows me some of the ability to go in and click into a cycle to punch in. All right, so there is my third take. Awesome. My third take is, again, labeled take three. So I have three different takes here that I can choose from. And again, all I have to do is click on it, select it, and figure out which one I want, which one I don't, or which parts of which one I want and which parts of another I don't. So we have to obviously probably go through them and listen to them. So let's see what we got here. And I'm just going to cut down the cycle so we can stop wasting all this time. Boom. Okay. So there we go. Let's take a listen to take one again. And what I'm doing is I'm auto punching. Auto punching is what I like to do. And sometimes I mess up. Okay, so the beginning of this part here, I don't like very much. And obviously I messed up at the end. Let's listen to take two. So then auto punching becomes the thing I really like to do. I like to auto punch. And when I auto punch, it allows me this certain area to do what I have to do. So then, okay, and now let's listen to the third one. See, I really do like to auto punch. Okay, so that's good. I like how I started that. See, I really do like to auto punch. So I'm going to go ahead and take my tool, which is now my quick swipe tool. And you can't see it here, right? It's not in that list. Interesting. So where does the quick swipe tool come in? It comes in when you have a comp. So let's take the tool that's natural to this sort of a process. It's Monday morning. Sorry, guys. Yeah, let's take the tool that's natural to this process that I'm working with, and let's just highlight that because that's the kind of part that I want to keep. So right now, of course, if I click on take three, that is the part. And then maybe I want a little bit of this part. No, let's not do that. Let's say I want a little bit of the second part before I mess up. So I clicked and dragged and highlighted. So I first selected track three or take three. Then I found out, where I wanted to stop that part of take three and where I wanted to pick up from take one. And I clicked and dragged and highlighted. And now maybe I want the back end of take two. So I'll click and drag and highlight that part. So I've made a composition of 1, 2, this little bit here, 3 different parts or 4 different parts of 3 different takes. Let's hear what it sounds like now as a comp. See, I really do like to auto punch. Auto punching is what I like to do, and sometimes I need a certain area to do what I have to do. See, so this doesn't work out. Let's move it to this area. Let's see how that worked out. See, I really do like to auto punch. Auto punching is what I like to do, and sometimes I do area to do what I have to do. So let's see. Let's go back to this part here. See, I really do like to auto punch. Auto punching is what I like to do. Okay, so let's trace it back to there. Is what I like to do. Let's see if this back end of take 3 will work. See, I really do like to auto punch. Auto punching is what I like to do, to go in and click into a cycle to punch in. Wow. Okay, cool. And then I can use this little line here to change the borderline between where I'm going to stop and end. So take 3 and take 1 are actually probably the better takes. Let's hear it now, finally. See, I really do like to auto punch. Auto punching is what I like to do, to go in and click into a cycle to punch in. Boom. Bingo. There's my final comp. I have a little bit of take 3, none of take 2 because I found out that one stunk, and a little bit of take 1. So let me show you a couple things that we can do. Obviously, we can color, and this is what I like to do when I comp. Option C brings up the color palette. Hide this stuff back in there. For take 1, I'm going to pick orange. For take 2, for take 2, rather take 3, I'm going to use green. And we didn't use any of take 2, but if I decided to click on take 2, let me get this back. Yeah, just so I can click on it here. I'm going to use like a purple. You can see the purple show up there just so you can see it. So what I did was, and what I probably should have done is color coded before I comped, which is really the process to do. But you can see now, color-wise, the differences between the takes. Take 3 is green. So anytime up here in the comp that take 3 is in, you'll see it, it'll be green. Take 1 is this orangey, browny, reddy thing. You could see that anytime take 1 is being in the comp, it will take on its color. And then I labeled take 2 as this purple here at the back end, and you could see just the very back end of it is there. Didn't change my comp. I was just able to visually organize my takes. And again, let's hear it. See, I really do like to auto punch. Auto punching is what I like to do, to go in and click into a cycle to punch in. Now, the first part of that. See, I really do like to auto punch. Auto punch, and I don't want the ing. See, I really do like to auto punching. I don't like punching at all. It's annoying. Let's see. See, I really do like to auto punching. Nah, see, I said it in all of them. Yuck. I really like to auto punch, not auto punching. Well, anyway, the point is the clip here allows me to take a look. The comp is a visualization combination of all 3 takes that I did when I was in some sort of cycle record mode. So I was able to take information, chop it up without actually, Command T, edit, copy, paste that way. That's not really a great way of doing it. The other great thing about comping and creating this pack take folder is that it automatically puts in these little crossfades, which you'd have to manually put in if you were going to go in and do like a cut copy kind of thing. Plus, I'm not going to get 3 new tracks. I still only have 1 vocal track. I just have 3 takes within that track. Now, I can hide those other 3, and I'm still given the comp. So even though you're comping and you might have multiple takes across multiple sessions, you could still use this arrow to hide and reveal more or less of what you want to see. And when you minimize your comp, it actually gets rid of the colors. When you expand the comp back out, you'll see your colors again where you can do more editing. What the heck else are these symbols? That's the key here. So we know take 1, take 2, take 3 are good labels. But up here, there's all sorts of other things that we should know about. So right next to it, there's an A. And here's where this starts to get more advanced. So try to stay with me here. When I click on this menu, you're going to see the list of all the takes that are there. Take 1, take 2, take 3, obviously, and they're labeled 1, 2, 3. You're also now going to see a list of all the comps you have. You can actually create multiple versions and store them. So you can use this version, which is a comp of 1 and 3, or this version, which is a comp of 2 and 1 and 3, or this version, which is another composition. And then you can go back and listen to them together and find out and narrow down which one you want to use and which one is working and which one is not. This kind of allows for that feature as a producer and engineer to give the artist or executive producers or anything like that other options for takes for, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it be in film or in music or whatever it is, even audiobooks. Doesn't matter. It's a very useful process regardless of the type of work you're doing. Now, there is other stuff in this menu. So let's go through that. The first one here says duplicate comp. So that means I'm going to make a duplicate of this comp. Let's see what happens when I do that. All right, let's go click on this. Let's duplicate comp. And now you have another comp. You have comp A, which looks like this. And you have comp B, which now can be re-edited to look like this. All right, if I pull these borders back a little bit, check it out. So this was, we'll go back to comp A, look like this as our original comp. And this, we created a new comp. And now it's B. And we can keep doing that over and over again and have a bunch of different choices for people to choose from. We can rename this comp. Instead of comp B, I can name it whatever I want it to be. Comp B, comping all day. There we go. So there it is. You can just rename it. So instead of comp A and comp B, we have comp A and comping all day. We can delete the comp. So let's say I didn't want this comp. I was done with it. Didn't work out. So goodbye. Now I'm left with A again. We can flatten a comp. Oh, so what does that mean? Let's do it. Let's flatten the comp. Boom. There you go. So when you minimize it, when you took it and shrunk down the visualization, it went to blue. It actually showed you a borderline. You could see it in there. I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see there's a borderline right here. So you could see where the cuts are being made, the edits are made. But when you expand it, you'll go back to seeing your visualization again, right? But when you flatten it, it actually will make all the edits for you, keep the color coding, and keep in the crossfades for every single edit. Now, I've used it this way, and I've used it by just expanding and contracting the actual visuals. But that's up to you. I find it really helpful to have the comp there. I can always re-edit it. So I usually just flatten it like that. But then doing an actual flatten will get rid of all of the other takes and all of the other audio. Not delete it, because obviously it's part of an audio file that exists on your computer. So you're not really deleting it. You're just getting rid of it visually. So that's what flattening does, all right? Expanding, contracting here can help your visuals, but flattening will actually, whoop, wrong button there. Flattening will actually get rid of the other audio. Now there's no more drop-down menu. Now there's no way of expanding it. How do I get back to that? I'm just command undoing. Command Z, by the way. What else do we have? We have flatten and merge. So let's see what that does. If I click on flatten and merge, whoa, it actually got me back to my blue. And you do not see any of the edit points now. You don't see any of the edit bars. So what I basically did was I flattened it and then I bounced it in place. I flattened it and then I bounced it in place. This gets rid of the audio as well. All the grayed out audio that you didn't use, that's gone goodbye. And it creates a brand new audio file for you that is a makeup of all of these edits that were made. So I flattened it out to the green, orange, green, purple, and then it bounces it and creates a brand new audio file for me. That is flatten and merge. Export the active comp to a brand new track. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, so let's export what I have here in my comp to a brand new track. And look at that. There it is. A brand new audio track with all the pieces of the original comp. Cool. Let's try move active comp to a new track. Let's do that. See what happens. Very similar. Only that here, it actually cuts out those pieces that we had before and drops them down to the new track. So the piece that was here is now green here. The piece that is here was here, and this piece that was there was there. It actually removes it from the original files and puts it on a brand new track. Interesting. Well, why would I use an export active or a move active? Sometimes as an engineer, I would like to use some of the tools like a canvas. Think of it like this. I'm working on a collage, right? So I cut out all these images and these pictures and these letters, and I build this beautiful collage. And then all of my scraps, instead of throwing them out, maybe I want to use them for something else. So here's what I've done as an engineer in the past. I've actually used this type of layout for my canvas. Like I've used this visualization box here with these colors and everything just to get a sense of what I want and what I don't. And then what I'll do is I'll actually take this and bring it down to a brand new track one way or the other. In this case, I can either export them or I can move them. But it allows me then to keep the originals, not really, clean off the scraps, but then be able to actually go back and use the scraps later if I wanted to for something new, creative, whatever it might be. Maybe even to sample it, which is something we are going to do this week. We're going to be doing some sampling. Again, you want to have all these options in your arsenal to do things. There are some reasons why I would flatten and merge, export and move. There are definitely some reasons. I can't even sit here and remember ones that I've done before, but I know I've done some and not others for a very specific reason. To go back and find a project where I actually use an export active comp instead of a move active comp, I'm not going to be able to do. But I know at times there are reasons why I would do some things and not others. All right. So again, the way to really kind of figure out what you want is to play around with it. Like I said, if we flatten it, we're basically going to be given just the important parts that I highlighted. It'll keep the color coding. It'll keep the fades in there. If I wanted to do something a little different than that and merge them together so I don't have to deal with all the other stuff, yeah, I can pull the best pieces out and then make it its own audio file. And by the way, if we want to take a look at that, try and get this stuff out. I know I made this so big. We'll go in and take a look at my thing here. And you could see down here, let me get rid of the color here. You can see right down here, those are brand new audio files called the Vox Comp A merged. They'll be brand new audio files that if we go over to our desktop and let's see here, desktop, and we go in our test folder, we go in audio files, you could see they actually become real audio files. They're right here, the two examples that I used. So that's kind of why you would do that. You want an actual audio file by itself for that. Up to you. Again, depends on what you're doing. Depends on the project. Depends on how you like to organize your project. Of course, like I said, we can always export to a new track, which gives you a new audio file. We can always move the active comp to a new track. What does unpack mean? And that's interesting. That means I'm going to take all of these takes and put them on something, their own audio tracks. So check that out. 1, 2, 3. All 3 takes are here, and the active comp is here. So now I have 4 audio tracks. Now you can see they're grayed out, and they're grayed out because they're still technically feeding the active comp. So even though I unpacked it, they're really not going to play into the sound of what's going on. All you're going to hear is this active comp. Now you can go in and unmute these. I don't know why you would do that. It'd be just chaos and mayhem. But the active comp is the only thing I'm going to hear in this.
See, I really do like to auto-punching. Auto-punching is what I like to do, to go in and click into a cycle to punch in.
See, that's the point. It still has the active comp. You're still going to hear all the edits you made. You just wanted to put them on their own tracks. Now, For me, the whole reason why I'm using a pack take folder is so I don't have to have 4 or 5 tracks of dialogue to edit across. I want to use one track, make my edits, and then shrink down my comp. But there are some people that really do like to have all the active audio inside of their own track. Not for me. That's not for me. So that was just Unpack. Let's unpack to new tracks. So this will actually unpack it without muting them. You will have the active comp, and you will have every single edit with its color coding, or every single take with its color coding. Again, if you played all these together, it's just chaos.
See, I really would like to auto punching is what I like to do. Go in and click into a cycle to punch.
Yeah, I mean, just chaos. But sometimes maybe you want to extract just take 3. Sometimes you want to pull out take 1 and maybe use it later in a project. So there are reasons why I would maybe make them into their own tracks, but I certainly wouldn't use them all together when I'm in my final mix. That would be ridiculous. So that was unpacking to new tracks, and then unpack to new track alternatives. Now we're talking about something a little different here. So check this out. When I unpack them to new track alternatives, this is something that we're going to talk about, something that Pro Tools does very well, something that Logic now does very well, and that is gives you alternative takes on the same track. Take a look over here in the track header. You'll see that now there's a little letter with a drop-down menu that I can choose from. So let's take a look at A. A is take 1. B would be take 2. C would be take 3. And D would be my comp. Very cool. So one track, all of those takes are on the same track. I can't see them unless I use this little menu over here in my track header. That's pretty cool. I like how they, let me cycle back through this so you get back to the comp. So again, instead of seeing it like this, and yeah, this is nice. I'm still kind of there, but to choose my different takes, I wouldn't go to the track header. I'd have to drop down the menu. I have to take a listen to each take. To do what I just did in regards to unpacking each track, each take to its own track alternatives now appear over in the track header. And it gives you options to swap in different takes, different comps into the main mix, into other things that might be going on here in this project. And you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in this project. We've been working on it for a couple of weeks now, or working in it for a couple of weeks. So those are some of the options that you have. Again, just selecting this A, which is comp A. Also, you'll see that it says quick swipe comping. Well, remember I told you couldn't get to the quick swipe tool through the tool menu. It's not here, right? It doesn't exist. But when I go over here, you'll see my quick swipe tool shows up. There it is. See it there? My little bar. And again, to hide or reveal, and what I do, I move that. Whoops. There we go. And to hide and reveal my quick swipe options, I can actually use the quick swipe tool that naturally comes up, or I can actually take it off. You can actually get rid of the quick swipe tool and then use this like a normal pointer tool, or use any of the other tools that are in the tool bar box. So I could go into flex and flex here in a comping mode, and then putting flexing on, which then now allows me to do some flexing with all of these takes. So that is something we will talk about this week, is flexing. But that's the reason why you would get in and out of quick swiping, right? So there'd be a reason why I don't want to be in a quick swiping tool. It's because I want to start using the tools in the project itself, but while still in the comp. I told you it's going to get a little more advanced. So we'll go through that a little further. Let's see what else we can do here in our menu. So like I said, we have our drop down, that little arrow. We know the A brings up this menu of all the things you could possibly do with a comp. Let's take a look at what this is. Can anyone see that? What is that? There's 3 dots. And then when I click on it, it turns into a scissor. What the heck is that? Do you notice also that when I click it onto the scissor, the quick swipe tool disappears? Huh. What is going on? What is that? One of the things that I have advised you to do when you guys started using Logic is to turn off the old information quick help button. But if you're not aware of what this is and what this is doing to the project, like for instance, when I'm in this, I'm in Quick Swipe Tool. When I'm in this, I'm basic editing. Then take a look at the question, turn it on, and then go ahead and roll over it. And it says it's the quick swipe comping button. Huh. So there's actually a quick button. Instead of going in here and unchecking quick swipe comping tool, there's actually a button out here that allows me to get into now my regular tools. Interesting, right? Where I can now pick my eraser tool and erase things. I can actually go in and create fades and change fades, like this crossfade that was automatically created for me. Right? Pretty cool. I can actually work with some of the things that are in there. And even though they were done for me automatically, I can customize and make them my own. So that little button here basically turns you in from a quick swiping edit to a standardized edit tool. In this case, like my pointer tool, where now I can move the comp around if I wanted to. That you can't do when you're in quick swiping mode because you'll start quick swiping things. See? Can't do that down here. So you do have to have the ability to go in and out of quick swiping tools and regular project edit window tools. And that's what that button allows you to do. Of course, you'll see the name of it. This is the Vox Comp A, right? That's the name. And then there's this little circle. And I'm sure if I asked this on a test, some of you would not know what that circle is, but we have already talked about it. If you come over to the mixer, take a look up here. You see there's that circle again? The exact circle. This switches you in and out of mono and stereo mode. When you're in stereo mode, it looks like two circles or two links on a chain intertwined, giving you left and right audio. When I click on it, it now puts me into mono mode. Let's take a look over here. Now, I can't change that for this right now. I can't click on this. If I click on this, nothing happens. Let's go back here. Let's click on this, and let's see what happened. Oh, look, nothing happened. That's showing you and indicating that you recorded in mono mode, regardless of what mode the track is in. If I recorded in mono, then it'll be a mono. If I recorded this quick swipe function, this pack take folder in stereo, we would get a stereo signal. Now, let's see if that holds true still to this day. Let's move our loop over here for a moment. We'll do a quick recording while in stereo mode. We know we're only going to hear my voice out of the left side, hence the reason what stereo recording is. So let's see what happens here. Check 1, 2, check, 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 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 8, 10, 14, 16, 18, 24. All right. You can see that while I'm in stereo mode, that only the left-hand side was recorded. You can see it visually. And now take a look at the symbol that's over here, letting you know that that clip was originally recorded in stereo. And this clip was originally recorded in mono. And again, you can look at it in here as well, but this track indicator doesn't change anything in the comp. So again, this, if I now back into mono mode, thank God, right? This still stays mono, and the one I record in stereo is still stereo, and it's only going to come out of my left speaker. No fun. So you do have to be sure you know what mode you're recording in. Obviously, you should always. And then you should then know what you're looking at in regards to your comps and what that means and will translate to in the final mix. So comp A was recorded in mono, so all my takes here would be in mono. Comp or Vox 5, if I did another recording on it, will be recorded in stereo, and then all the takes would be in stereo. I'd be comping in stereo, and unfortunately, like I said, for right now, I'm only recording on the left-hand side of that stereo field because I'm recording with a mic on a 2-channel interface. But again, it doesn't change that visual indicator right here. This tells you how that clip was recorded. That's the important part. I want you to know what you're looking at when you look at a clip, especially when you're looking at a clip which has all this information on it, a drop-down menu, or really just a hide and reveal menu, this full menu, then, of course, the edit to quick swipe menu or tool, A and B toggle, the Vox and the comp name, and of course, how that comp was recorded. In this case, it was recorded in mono. And then the difference between that and what you would be looking over on the mixer. Right now, yeah, I switched myself back into mono, but if I put it back into stereo, now it's only on the left-hand side. These are things you need to kind of know visually. That's not something you really need to practice. That's not something you have to go back to Logic and now mess around with. Those are things at this point, this far down the line, you should know. You should know the War of 1812 had these details in it. You should know that Columbus discovered America, or not really, if you want to go back further. You should know that major happenings in history, major terms in math and science, and now you should know in audio production what basic elements are and look like. That's what I'm getting at. Sorry, didn't mean to confuse it with the history. Delete this. Don't want it. Move this back over here. Question so far while I'm just tidying up my project. Raise your hand if you have a question so far. We are kind of stepping up the information now. We are doing things that in the master class, I saw people ask about comping and pack take foldering. And we're going to get to those questions and answer them again. But I'm just letting you know that master class, as advanced as it is, we cover a lot of the stuff that they did in that. We cover a lot of that stuff. We may not have the time to do all the demos like he does. You may not have the patience or, attention level that you probably would need to have to firmly grasp all that. That I can't help, but I am and will and always have been talking about advanced features and functions in Logic. So this is like our first step towards the next level of Logic editing and advanced features. So if you have a question, definitely ask it. Like I mentioned to you while I wait for someone to ask something, we are going to do some more stuff for MIDI effects. I've been playing around with the arpeggiator. That's always fun. And other types of MIDI effects. So that's the next level of MIDI, as well as the EXS24. We are going to talk about flexing tomorrow. We'll do flexed stuff. I do want to get back to the drum machine designer, which we kind of let fall off to the wayside when we were doing our initial MIDI stuff. So how I want to approach this week is we'll do 2 days of audio, and then we'll do 2 days of MIDI. So today and tomorrow, we did comping today and pack take foldering today. Tomorrow we'll do flexing. And then Wednesday, we're going to go into sampling. And then Thursday, we'll do MIDI effects with the drum machine. Those are the things I kind of want to go through this. This is kind of like that next, we'll say Logic 201 level. As we grow closer to being finished with Logic, believe it or not, I'm going to say sometime around mid-May to late May, we'll be done with Logic, and we'll be doing other lessons in regards to mastering. Well, we're actually going to Pro Tools and do mastering. We'll do Logic mastering. We're going to do some more advanced mastering plugin work. We'll do just a number of different things over the last few weeks, depending on how long, again, we are home. And regardless of being home or not, we would be doing these same topics in school as well. So we're not really off track in regards to the curriculum and what's necessary for the final exam. Nothing. No questions. Zippity doo dah. No. Okay. So just as a summary, really quick, going back, and not back to the beginning, I recorded 3 different takes in a loop cycle. All right. 1, 2, 3. Then I took the best parts of those takes to create a comp. I took a little bit of this one. I took a little bit of this one. I took a little bit of this one. What I ended up doing is color coding them, option C, because it gives me a better visualization of which parts from which clips or takes am I going to use for my final comp. Once I have my final comp and I've, really detailed these edges and these fades, I had to go through it a few times to kind of really get them exactly the way I would want them. And that allowed me, and we'll do it right there. to then show a final comp, get it to where I want it to be. And now I can use my list of information here to do the next step. Am I flattening and merging, exporting, moving them, unpacking them? What do I want to do with this? How does that play into the rest of the project? I told you there's a lot of ways to look at this however you want. And there'll be different reasons why I would pick one or the other. And that's solely based on the project itself. If I wanted to create multiple comps, I duplicate it and re-edit it. I can rename them, delete them if I didn't like them, flatten them out, merge them, export them, unpack them, and I can unpack them to new tracks or new track alternatives. And I actually think we'll do a little bit of track alternative 2 tomorrow with flexing, because that's always interesting that when you flex something, you have the ability to do other things as well. And you can make a couple of different decisions on what you want to do with that particular take or cut or clip. And then, of course, your ability to not only, still quick swipe if you need to, and there you go, I just quick swipe that in, but also to now use the original tools in the window. So if I just want to solo tool and solo this one, solo this or solo that, whatever it might be, you could still use those using this button here to get you in and out of swiping. That's all that is. Like I said, this is a great, great tool when you are doing multiple takes. I did this over the weekend a few times for myself because I'm doing a couple of different projects, as I mentioned at the top, and we're doing all sorts of, cool and exciting stuff from home, and we might as well play around with this while we have it. And that kind of gave me some ideas on how I would eventually use quick swiping and comping to my advantage. If I had and I showed you the drum thing before, if I did it 3 or 4 times in a row to a click track, I know it's all in sync, but sometimes I played it better. I did a fill better in take 2, or I did a kick flutter better with another take. It allows me to go in, line them all up, and now create a comp of all 3 or 4 of those takes. Very cool concept there for music. Like I said, it can be used in television and film and podcasting, audiobooks and theater, whatever you want to use it for. It doesn't really make a difference. I hope you all are trying to do as much as you can within the session of the classroom. Of course, like I mentioned to you at the top, there is still gym work to be done. For the people who haven't done any, make sure you do it. I gave another link to our YouTube page. This video, today's lesson, will be back up there probably like a half an hour from now. If you haven't taken the quiz 21, 22, 23, you've done 3 quizzes now in the classroom. You need to do that. And I said to you, there is good news. And the good news is there's no project due Friday. There will be a